Cells.
Cells.
Have you ever been in an institution? Cells.
Cells.
Do they keep you in a cell? Cells.
Cells.
When you're not performing your duties, do they keep you in a little box? Cells.
Cells.
Interlinked.
Interlinked.
What's it like to hold a hand?
It feels like not that long ago that your average male protagonist had these giant muscles, were waving around guns and saving the world with a badass one-liner. When the strongest guys on screen were always the loud, confident, and victorious. That was basically every blockbuster before smartphones became smarter than us. But if you look at the male lead in movies like Drive or Call Me By Your Name, it's a totally different vibe. Instead of yelling, they're brooding. Instead of biceps, they're rocking the emotional constipation. And somehow, that guy is just as powerful, or maybe even more so. Welcome to the age of sad boy cinema. That weird, beautiful, sometimes frustrating corner of film where the male lead is broken, complicated, and oh yes, very relatable. So let's rewind. The classic male hero was basically a checklist. Muscles, guns, grit, and unshakable confidence that said, I got this. Whether it was Arnold Schwarzenegger in Commando, Sly Stallone in Rambo, or Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible, these guys defined masculinity with their fists and their fearless attitude. They didn't just win fights, they won wars. They got the girl and walked away from explosions like it was a casual stroll in the park. But what if I told you, the strongest new male icon doesn't punch his way out of problems. He sits with them, stares at them, and sometimes smokes a cigarette while thinking about them. Ryan Gosling popularized this new archetype. The stoic, emotionally repressed, stylishly sad man. He doesn't say much, he barely smiles, and yet somehow, he's magnetic. So who exactly are these sad boys? They're not the classic heroes who save the day. No, they're the guys who can't even save themselves. Think Paul Mescal in Aftersun, drowning silently in regret, or Timothy Chalamet in Beautiful Boy, wrapped in addiction and heartbreak. These characters aren't meant to inspire us to be better warriors or leaders. They show us what it looks like when someone's lost, unsure, and just barely holding it together. But here's the kicker. This resonates deeply, especially with the younger audiences. Why? Because for so many young men today, the old model of masculinity feels fake, or even harmful. The idea that men must always be tough, unemotional, and in control, it's outdated. Sad boy cinema says, hey, it's okay to feel bad, it's okay to be confused, hell, it's okay to be a mess. And Ryan Gosling is the poster boy for this phenomenon. The literally me guy. Let's break it down. His characters rarely speak more than a sentence or two, yet every line feels heavy, like it carries the weight of 1,000 feelings. His expressions? Almost always minimal. A slight frown, a blank stare, an absent-minded glance. The vibe? More haunted leather jacket than swaggering cowboy. In Drive, Gosling's character drives cars for a living and kills people for fun. But he barely talks. His power isn't in words or violence. It's the quiet intensity that he radiates. He's a man who's internalized trauma so deeply, it's practically part of his DNA. This is the new cinematic male ideal. Emotionally repressed, aesthetically curated, tragically unreachable, and cool as hell. And the wild part is, countless viewers see themselves in this. Sad boy cinema isn't just about being sad. It's about not knowing how to be anything else. These characters don't cry or cue or scream into the void. They carry their pain quietly, awkwardly, sometimes self-destructively. Look at Paul Mescal in Aftersun, a quietly devastating performance where the pain lies in the silences and misconnections. Or Brendan Fraser in The Whale, where emotional weight is so heavy, it physically crushes the character. The kind of vulnerability is raw and real. It acknowledges that sometimes being a man means wrestling with feelings you don't fully understand. If you spend any time on Letterboxd, Instagram, or TikTok, you'll notice the trend. Sad boy cinema characters have become meme-worthy icons. You'll find playlists titled Sad Boy Hours, or literally me under photos of Gosling or Chalamet brooding in a coffee shop. It's not just fanboy worship, it's a cultural moment where emotional complexity is being celebrated, even fetishized. But why? Because these sad boys say you don't have to be perfect to be worthy. They're flawed, broken, and confused, just like a lot of people watching. The literally me phenomenon is kind of an emotional solidarity. It's an unspoken message. You're not alone feeling this way. Marvel and DC movies have dominated cinema for over a decade, full of bright colors, epic battles, and heroes who save the day, and these days the entire universe. But sad boy cinema is the anti-superhero movement. Where superheroes' journey is about external battles, sad boys fight internal wars. Where superheroes win, sad boys often lose, or just simply survive. It's less about saving the world and more about surviving yourself. The shift reflects something deeper. Audiences are craving stories that reflect real life. Messy, unresolved, and emotionally complicated. And here's the thing. Sad boy cinema has power, but it also carries risks. Sometimes being sad becomes an aesthetic, a look, a vibe, rather than a genuine emotional journey. We start seeing emotional paralysis celebrated. Characters who spend 2 hours staring into space but never grow or change. This can turn into what some call trauma cosplay, where suffering becomes a badge of identity instead of something to work through. So while sad boy cinema opens doors to vulnerability, it can also trap people in cycles of emotional stasis. It's the difference between feeling bad and using feeling bad as a style choice. So what does this mean for masculinity? The rise of sad boy cinema signals a new understanding of masculinity. Men don't have to be tough, unbreakable heroes anymore. They can be vulnerable, flawed, and uncertain. And that's okay. The new masculinity is messy, sometimes awkward, but it's ultimately more honest. And for many young men, that honesty feels like liberation. So why do we love watching these guys? Because they reflect our world. A world where economic uncertainty, social change, and mental health crises make traditional strength feel irrelevant. We're drawn to characters who sit with their confusion, rather than immediately fix it. Sad boy cinema validates feeling lost, anxious, and overwhelmed, experiences that blockbuster heroes often overlook. In the end, sad boy cinema is a power fantasy. It's not the kind you're used to. It's not about flexing muscles or firing guns. It's about depth, emotion, and authenticity. It's about being broken but beautiful, being silent but powerful. And if you're watching this thinking, yeah, that's literally me, congratulations. You're part of the club. Because in 2025, the strongest thing a man seems to be is sad.